South Carolina, we did it again. You did it for me again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 2020 and now again in 2024. Now let's go win the whole thing. Let's win it all.
Tonight, President Biden campaigning in California, taking a few moments to thank his supporters after he easily won the South Carolina Democratic presidential primary. The president tweeting out that message just moments ago.
With nearly all precincts reporting, the president has more than 96% of the vote. Our Rachel Ripp was at the state fairgrounds tonight as Democrats celebrated President Biden's victory.
Here at the state fairgrounds is where dozens of people gathered for the South Carolina Democratic presidential primary. You can see it's a very different scene now. This room empty as most of those people have made their way home. But we heard from several party leaders, Jim Clyburn, Crystal Spain, and Jamie Harrison, all talking about Joe Biden, who won that presidential Democratic nomination. Voters young and old turned out Saturday night at the South Carolina Democratic presidential primary watch party. A historic night for the Palmetto State, the first presidential primary in the nation.
Hearing us talk about, the hands that pick cotton are the hands that are now picking presidents. I mean, that is impactful, it is powerful, and that is the imagery that is important for the nation to see. Jamie Harrison, the National Democratic Party chair, Crystal Spain, the South Carolina Democratic Party chair, and U.S. Congressman Jim Clyburn, all saying they hope this is the case again in 2028. Spain explained that 6,000 new voters participated in early voting in the South Carolina Democratic primary for the first time, with a 14% increase in black voter participation. She says her Democratic Party team hosted 115 events in 32 South Carolina counties these past couple weeks. Dominique King and Devin Jackson were attendees tonight from Mercer University in Georgia, watching everything unfold for their political primary class.
I do think it's been nice to see that people still have hope and people still believe that the country is capable of change.
Clyburn spoke about how he and Biden have been working to make the greatest parts of America affordable and accessible, as well as unifying the country.
Disagreeing doesn't mean we can't get along. It means that we will find a way to come together and succeed in our efforts.
South Carolina voters saying they're energized after this monumental night. This is obviously the first stop, but after this comes Nevada and Michigan, and we'll see the Republican presidential primaries here in South Carolina on February 24th. Rachel Ripp, News 19, WLTX.
And tonight, according to the State Election Commission, voter turnout was low across the state today, but few problems reported. Tonight, we're hearing about the process of casting a ballot in Richland County. Here's Zoe Henry.
It's very easy. The staff was friendly. Very helpful. It took less than 5 minutes to come in and cast a ballot.
No, we didn't have any trouble. We live nearby. So, but a lot more people than I thought they'd be. I'm glad to see that.
Kenesha Fletcher and Lila Hoffer are two of thousands to cast their ballots in Richland County on Saturday. But poll workers at both Dreher High School and Earlwood Park say turnout was slow all day. The State Election Commission website shows voter turnout for early voting increased daily starting on January 29th. Early reporting from the commission shows more than 48,000 people voted early in the Democratic primary. The counties with the most turnout in the Midlands were Richland, with nearly 5,900 voters, and Orangeburg County with 2,100. People who made it out to the polls today say it was a priority.
My mother and father had never missed voting, and they instilled that in us. They voted right up until their deaths. So I've never missed, neither my siblings, and I think I would like to keep the United States the way it is.
Well, first, I do believe that voting for everyone, no matter who you are or your age, is a privilege and also a right that we should all exercise.
Zoe Henry, News 19, WLTX.
Well, with 100% of the precincts now reporting, we can see that President Biden easily defeated his challengers, Marianne Williamson and Dean Phillips, with 96.2% of everyone showing up to vote today. casting their ballot for the current president. So let's take a look at some of the numbers as they break down here in the Midlands. Let's start with Richland County so you can see how Richland County compares, the voters in Richland County compare to other voters. Pretty decent turnout with 18,000 people showing up to vote, but compare that to Lexington County where you only had 5,000, or Orangeburg County where you only had 5,000, and then over in Lexington County where you had fewer than 5,000 people voting for the president in this Democratic primary. Of course, we've got all of these numbers on our website at WLTX.com, but to get a closer look at what this means on a national scale, we're going to head over to our insiders in Studio B with J.R. Berry.
And we are joined now by our State House insiders, Antoine Seawright, our Democratic strategist, Dave Wilson, our Republican strategist. No surprises here tonight, Antoine.
South Carolina's riding with Biden. I think it was expected. If you look under the hood and look at the numbers, 76% of the people who voted early were African American. That's 13% increase from 4 years ago. We had 51,000 people vote early in this process, although down from the 77,000 4 years ago. I think it's a good indicator that people are still excited. And then the fact that almost 7,000 new people who never voted before voted in this process shows that people are paying attention in a real authentic way.
It's really important for people to recognize the importance of voting and turning out. It's no surprise Joe Biden took this, to be anything less than 95% is going to be amazing in this particular race, because you have two really no-name also-rans who are part of this. It's going to get to a point, though, where the president has made it very clear how important the African-American vote is by placing South Carolina, which was the state that helped him to be able to win the nomination 4 years ago, to place South Carolina first, and the issues are very important that he did that in that way.
All right, and Dave, I know Republicans are looking forward for 3 weeks from now. That is when the Republican presidential primary takes place. What's going to happen between now and then?
It's going to be political fireworks show, so if you missed anything on the 4th of July, now is your opportunity to begin to start thinking about that, because you'll have Nikki Haley and Donald Trump both coming into South Carolina. She is here. She is on the ground, having events right and left. Donald Trump is going to be making appearances. He appears with an event with Ben Carson the night before the primary, but there's going to be a real set of political fireworks going on because both of them are pouring millions of dollars into South Carolina.
I'm not sure it moves the needle. Haley may be able to close the gap some, but at the end of the day, I think this is Trump's Republican Party. I think South Carolina has been trumped. And I think he'll win the primary. I think he'll be well positioned to look forward to the nomination into Super Tuesday.
Yeah, I think if you look at where Nikki Haley is going to be, it's probably going to be at best 15 points behind Donald Trump. And as we've been saying on the Insiders all this time, this has been a race for second place. That will be the place where Nikki Haley will have to answer the question: do I have staying power past Super Tuesday?
All right, Dave Wilson, Antoine Seawright. Guys, thank you so very much for your input.
Thanks.